Hello.
Hello.
I'm pleased to see you again, and I'm going to do the Amsler chart reading for you. Now with this I've got several different plates to use. I'd like you to go through them and I'll explain what each one is for.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with the standard Amsler chart, which is the grid with centimetre squares. And if you'd like to hold on to that, if you can cover over your left eye, and when you look, you look at the centre spot, and you should be able to see all four corners. Can you see all four corners?
Yes.
And all the squares should be perfectly straight, or straight lines. Is there any distortion at all on any of those squares?
No, all straight.
Alright, so that's the standard one. Now as we move on to the next chart, this is for anybody that is struggling to focus on the centre spot. So you'll notice you've got the diagonal lines coming across, just so that anybody struggling can actually then see the centre spot. Okay. So again, do exactly the same with that one.
So all the lines look straight.
And you can see all four corners.
Yes.
And you're not struggling to
No.
focus on the centre spot.
No, no.
Brilliant.
Okay. So that would help someone if they can't find the centre part.
Yes.
They'd look where the lines should be.
If they have early stages of ARMD, then
they could well struggle.
They could struggle with that centre spot, but if you've got them lines, that's pulling them in towards that centre spot.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the next one, if you struggle with the white on black, we have this one, which is the same chart but with red on black. This helps with the contrast. And so, and again, you look at this one exactly the same way as you would the first two.
Am I holding it at the right distance?
It's about 30 centimetres, which is correct, yes.
Okay. So I can see all four corners of the grid. All the lines appear straight as I'm looking at the centre spot, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit different from me using the red lines compared to the white.
Do you find it easier or harder or about the same?
I think it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, but if you've got any difficulties with your vision, you'd actually find the red is easier.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Thank you.
Now the next chart, this one is a little bit different. This has no lines at all. This is just searching for scotoma or holes in your vision. So when you look at this, you've still got your centre square, your centre cross. If you look at that, doing exactly the same way, but instead of looking for any distortion, you're looking to see if there's anywhere that these snowflakes are no longer in view. So it'll look like a hole on the chart.
Okay. Yeah, they appear to completely cover the grid. I've got any missing parts.
And again, you can see all four corners of the grid.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Okay.
So if we move on to the next one now, the next one has just horizontal lines. Now you look at this chart in two ways. So first of all, we're looking at the horizontal lines. You've got your centre spot, and you've got the lines going across, and it just makes it easier to focus for you if you're having difficulties in focusing. Okay. So now, do the lines horizontally look straight to you?
Yes. And
they look like an equal distance apart?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. Now if we turn this chart around, and you can see them now as vertical lines.
Yes.
Does that look any different? Do the lines look equally spaced? And
yes.
Do they look straight?
They do.
Excellent. So now we're going to go on to a different contrast. So as we go on from the black and white, we go on to white on black, and straight away you can see in these bright lights that that's a little bit more difficult to see. And with this one, the centre lines are much closer together, and then the outside lines are all equally spaced, the same as on the previous chart.
Okay.
This would show up any minor faults in the vision much easier if you needed to, if there was the problem there. So again, do these look like all the lines are straight?
Yes.
And you can see all four corners of the chart?
Yes. And actually prefer the black and white contrast ones.
Well, I think this can be a little bit bright for you if you have got a problem.
Yes, it could
with
be
bright
bright,
light. You've got the glare back off the background, haven't you?
Yeah. But personally, I think it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But it all depends on the eye condition, doesn't it?
Yes.
That someone has.
And then the final chart. This one is made up the same way as the normal Amsler grid for all the outside edges, but you'll notice that the centre, all the squares are much smaller and closer together. You again have got the centre line in it as well. So as we go on to that, you do this one exactly the same way as you would the normal chart, but this would show up any minor faults a little bit more.
Yeah, it's very specific, isn't it?
Yes.
The central vision.
Yeah.
So I can see all four corners.
And of course the Amsler chart is helping to find any faults mainly with ARMD. And the centre of the vision is the part that's generally affected the most.
Yes.
So I've just got a couple of charts here just to show you. So figure 1. So if you'd like to explain what you see on there.
So we have a central minified macular grid.
You don't really need to cover your eye for that, because it's a demonstration chart, and it's showing you what can be seen on there.
So you've got like a 3D effect, and you've got possible distortion, possibly leading to a scotoma at some point.
And then I've got another one, figures 2 and 3 are worth looking at as well, and then there's another one on the back. You can see that there are some things going on that one.
Okay. So each square appears to relate to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Within the back of the eye. Okay. Oh yes, so that's how the Amsler corresponds to the particular parts of the eye in terms of holding it at about 30 centimetres.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just show that to the camera. Alright.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, I've got a near vision chart for you to look at now. And with this, if you want to hold on to that, we've got N5, N6, N8, N10 and N12. The numbers, the bigger the number, the larger the print. So if you want to have a look and tell me which is the smallest print you could read on there.
I can read N5 there.
Excellent. Do you want to read a line or two on it?
Printing of this size is only used for special purposes. For example, the small advertisements and financial columns in some journals.
So then when you look on the N6, I think that'll mention that it's the most commonly used size print.
Yeah, this is the smallest size type in general use.
And then when you look at N8, is that the one for novels?
The news columns in most of the daily papers.
Yeah. So it's number 10 is in a book then, isn't
Novels and magazines.
Yeah. And then what's number 12 used for? This just tells me then that I know that you can read it.
I'd say that's for standard books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just your paperback novels.
Excellent.
Good.
Now this chart can be illuminated if need be.
Okay.
in this instance I haven't plugged it in, but plugging it in, we do have other tests we can do using this, but as a reading chart it's fine as a normal reading chart without illuminating it.
Okay. I've noticed you have what looks like a little Snellen chart as well, so
yeah, and the chart on there as well, which can actually be moved, so we can change the dial.
Okay.
So you can actually have a different setting at the top.
Oh yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.